Hi, Paul Hefty here with the Triangle Football System. We're going on phase 2 install of our inside gap RPOs. We went over power, and now we want to go over our counters inside gap. You can see here we've got counter blast, counter T-wrap blast, counter tray, and a counter tag. The neat thing is they're all still using that same pop RPO route, and we're still using the SAM backer as our read key or conflict defender. Key point here, I like to start out with power and then use counter as my complement, but you can start out as counter as your core inside gap RPO and then look to add power as the complement. You can do whatever fits your personnel or your personality best. All right, as you can see, we'll still use our 3x3 install. Here we're focusing on counters, but we're still using our pop RPO. So again, with our 3-phase and 3-step practice, we'll do just the RPO. For this example, we would just do counters, but then we could go ahead and do some pass pro and pass games using similar pop routes. And then last phase, then doing both the RPO and the pass plays in game situations. Again, inside gap RPO steps, whether it's the counter or the power, back is going to take the same 3 steps every time. It's going to take step 1 and 2 with the toes pointed at the sideline, and then the 3rd step with the toe right down the midline of the quarterback, pointing straight upfield. That way now we can go ahead and plant with the shoulders square and get on the backside hip now of the puller for the counter, in this case being the H-back. Again, the quarterback uses a rocker step, and key point here, he steps with the foot opposite of where the back is coming from. So again, he's using his right foot in this diagram. The key is to keep his shoulders square as he's making his decision on his read. That way he can throw to either side and see either way. If he does decide to give the ball to the back, then he can go ahead and turn. We actually teach it where he's going to go ahead and turn his body so he can go ahead and seat the ball in the belly for the back, but still then rocker back and do his fake pass action here. Again, we're reading the SAM backer, and for us, the SAM and the mic are always to the direction we're going, so that's why even though it's a counter, we still are going to read the SAM backer. So here's your counter blast, your first one. Blast is simply an ISO. But we use counter action. What we're going to do here is the O-line is going to use a big to back rule. We like this against defensive ends that want to play really wide, because you can see now the left tackle and right tackle simply fan out. You can actually have them pass set if you want when the D-ends are in a ghost alignment way out wide for a speed rush. Then you see we're going to just have big if you're covered. The left guard's going to go ahead and block, and the center then can combo back to the will. The H does what we call a bomb block, where he's going to go block on the mic backer. So he's going to pull and lead up on the mic. The key is once he gets to the center, the H wants to turn and start to get his shoulders square to line of scrimmage and skip versus just running and rolling through this. Back will do what we call dart action, meaning he's going to take his 3 steps but then dart back to where he came from. That's the counter action. Receivers' routes are the same. This is a beauty. All inside RPOs are running their pop. So the A runs the bender read, the Z runs the lookie or a 4-step flat slant, and the X runs the 6-step skinny slant, what we call a glance route. Quarterback, again, pre-snap has access. He can come back to the X, but we're going to read the SAM either way. He fills, we drill, he sits, back gets. Here's a video of Penn State running this with Barkley. We're going to see here the counter action.
He's got it.
H-back comes up through, leads black on the mic, and he's off. It's a nice north and south, another again A-gut running play. And again, at the initial part of the play, the 3 steps by the back needs to be consistent, whether it's power or counter. It's going to look the same to the defense. And the quarterback uses that same technique of a rockets. Let's see it here from behind.
Was just a little bit premature. Huh?
And again, north and south.
That's what we're talking about.
Old school ISO, but counteraction automatically built in. One advantage of running a blast as your counterplay is there's less moving parts up front. There's no lineman pulling. The H is the puller. So you can see in the upper left-hand diagram against the 4-3 base, they're just big on big. The uncovered lineman being in the center is going to block back. That's the big to back. So if you're covered, you stay big or base block. If you're uncovered, you block back. Again, with all inside gaps, the exception is the TNT. So the bottom gray diagrams there, we have TNT fronts. So again, center is always identifying the front, odd, even, or TNT. Once he makes the TNT call to the quarterback, that alerts him to go ahead and read the will backer, because that is the conflict defender, the unblocked defender with 7 in the box. If you want to change your tendency again of not having the H-back lead the defense to the play, you can do a T-wrap blast, and all this is the backside tackle becomes the puller and the H replaces the tackle's lock block on the defensive end. So again, all we do here is now the tackle becomes the puller and runs the bomb block back on Mike Backer. The counteraction or dart steps by the back is the same, and the rest of the offensive line is the same. The H now will go ahead and get down inside and block and lock on that defensive end with this. We call this Lakers. The signal here now is directional fist pushing downward when we run blast, regular blast, counter blast. It's directional fist pushing upward. Nothing changes. We just trade the tackle and the H. So here's Penn State running this again to the right. This would be Rockets. You're going to see in the diagram the defense has no SAM, so this is key in the read and recognition for the quarterback. The safety now, or what we call the onside safety, is the ox. When he drops down in the box, what a lot of teams' defenses are doing now, that becomes the SAM. He fills and he hits the X with the glance route right up inside. Again, you'll see the ox come down, he becomes a SAM. There's your rocker, glance route, 6 steps, skinny slant, touchdown. Now, if you want to go ahead and use counter tray blocking, this is basically power with the H and the guard trading rules. The guard now is going to do what we call a flat pull and kick out or trap block that defensive end. And then the H does his bomb block following after the guard up to the mic, same as he would with his counter blast. Again, dart action by the back, pop routes by the receivers, still reading the SAM key. Nice thing about this is it creates great blocking angles for your play side, left guard, left tackle, and center, all blocking back. Again, you can use this as your core inside gap RPO and make power the complement. It's up to you. Again, we call this Cincy to the left, Cleveland to the right. The signal now is the directional fist and arm just straight out to the side. And still action there. Here's a diagram of Alabama running it. They don't do the counter action with the back, but this is a great diagram.
We encourage them to put something good on tape. The NFL will find it.
And then actually have rear view.
1st and 15.
Guard kicks out.
Big opening off the right side.
Up again. It's an A gap power. You're going to see again these down blocks by the right guard, right tackle, and center. And we get the guard pulling to the right, kicking out, and the H-back doing the bomb block up inside. Just not having counter action with the back. Again, he plants his foot on that 3rd step, and he's up north and south with it. Great core play for inside gap power. For blocking of counter tray, it's actually very similar for the play side lineman as inside or split zone. So it's a great complement that way if you're an inside split zone team. But again, the rule here now is inside gap to inside backer is thinking. So You're going to go ahead and block a down lineman to your inside gap. If there's no lineman there, then you go to the next inside backer with it. Again, guard's going to pull flat and trap or kick out that defensive end, and the H does the bomb block again. Again, the exception to all inside gap RPO blocking is the TNT. Center gives a TNT call. What that does is alerts the quarterback now. The Sam is going to be blocked, and we're going to go ahead and read the will backer. All right, last one then is tag counter. What that means is now we're going to have the tackle and the guard as the pullers. So again, if you want to break the tendency of the H-back leading you to the point of attack, we just go ahead and use a tag prefix call to Cincinnati and Cleveland. The signal now is a directional fist punching out to the side. It's moving. Again, back still does his dart counteraction. Receivers run their pop RPO, and quarterback still reads the Sam backer. He fills your drill, he sits, back gets. Blocking for this then rule is still inside gap to inside backer rule. We just changed the backside tackle now becomes a puller with a me call, and the H-back is going to go ahead and say lock, lock, lock. He's going to go replace the tackle and lock up on the defensive end. Same exception for all inside gaps is the TNT. Center gives a TNT recognition to the front. We simply now tells the quarterback the will becomes the read key for it. Thanks.